Do it now, while you still have options.
I'm Brian Parks, head of commercial banking in Atlanta for Ameris Bank. I've been in banking for over 30 years, and my team and I know that businesses have the best results when they work with local bankers who know the Atlanta market. Bankers who will work to understand your business operations and bring good ideas to the table. At Ameris Bank, we do that. I invite you to reach out so we can start a conversation. Visit amerisbank.com/yourbusiness or a local branch near you. Ameris Bank, fiercely yours, member FDIC.
If you've ever organized your closet only to have it look like a bomb went off in there 1 month later, then it's time to call Artisan Custom Closets. Dave Baker here with a custom spacious closet from Artisan. You'll never have to deal with all that clutter again. ArtisanCustomClosets.com.
At Shane Company, we've been engagement ring experts for almost 100 years. We have the largest selection of diamonds and gemstones in stock. You don't have to wait to compare them side by side. Find the one that speaks to you at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Want to be on the show? Come on, be on the show. Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
You know how progressives for the last number of weeks, they've been lying to each other about Tyler Robinson. They've been claiming that Tyler Robinson was not ideologically progressive. We've got now the shooter in Texas, and the shooter is supposedly not progressive. Maybe it was the FBI itself that wrote on the bullets. We've got lots of people on the left lying for their narrative. We have lots of people on the left lying for their narrative about Tyler Robinson, about the guy down in Texas, about it all. I want you to know today you are being lied to by progressives on the right who actually want to steer you into some sort of rabid distrust of government. A report has come out about the FBI on January 6th that there were roughly 300 FBI agents in the field that day. Various right-wing outlets that have become very progressive. They're not grounded in truth. They're not grounded in God. They're grounded in the fever swamp of the right, are insisting this is proof that the FBI agents were embedded with the January 6th crowd and were causing people to storm into the building. And that's not what the report shows at all. In fact, it shows that the overwhelming majority of FBI agents were scrambled as these riots were happening to go assist. But there are those on the right who are willfully lying to you, and some of you, just like on the left, want to believe the lie about Tyler Robinson and the shooter in Texas. Some of you on the right want to believe that the FBI agents were orchestrating the January 6th riots. First it was Antifa, then it was the January 6th riots, the FBI agents that were involved. If you want to be lied to, and you want to believe the lie from the right, stop attacking the left for seeding their own narratives about the shooter in Texas and Tyler Robinson, because you're no better than them. The truth is the truth, and the truth is that the FBI agents were not plainclothes rioters encouraging people to storm the building on January 6th. It's just what you want to believe, because just as the left wants to believe purity about their side, you want to believe that no one on your side was capable of doing what they actually did. I'm not lying to you. I'm telling you the truth, and you can hate me for telling you the truth, but it's the truth. Now, I got to tell you about Vision Computer. They'd love to have you order a computer from them at 404-COMPUTER, visioncomputers.com. If you go to 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com, you can get a computer from them. They can also be your managed IT service. They can maintain your computers, and instead of getting an email that you file tickets with, you get a phone number, and you call the phone number, 404-COMPUTE. 404-COMPUTE, you call them. They, by the way, when you do the managed IT, they pick up the phone in 15 seconds or less. Call them at 404-COMPUTE today, or go to visioncomputers.com. If you tell them Eric sent you, you can save even more money. 404-COMPUTER, visioncomputers.com. They can build you computers, upgrade your computers. They can be managed IT. And by the way, Windows 10 is about to stop sending security updates. You need to upgrade. They can do that for you, too. 404-COMPUTE, anyone nationwide. Tell them I sent you.
the notifications you need.
The story developing in Marietta.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
We're following breaking news in Atlanta.
All in one place.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it today.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
Weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. Atlanta police arrest a suspect in connection with a deadly stabbing today in Cobb County. 46-year-old Frank Moore charged with felony murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a knife during the commission of a felony. This was at the Budgetel Inn on Circle 75 Parkway. 2 women stabbed this morning. 1 died. The others at the hospital. Detectives say the victims knew the suspect. The investigation is ongoing. Your weather for today: cloudy, on and off showers possible, a few thunderstorms as well. Highs around 80, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. The jury at the trial of an alleged gang member accused of fatally shooting an 8-year-old girl at an illegal street blockade in the summer of 2020 has asked to rewatch a security video. WSB's Veronica Waters says the Julian Conley jury asking to rewatch the area security videos from all 4 angles. The jury has now watched them twice. Conley accused of firing the shot that killed Sequoia Turner the night of July 4th, 2020. A bridge replacement project could impact your drive on Briarcliff Road near Emory University. The school saying replacement of the bridge on Briarcliff over Peachtree Creek will lead to delays and some lane closures. Crews will carry out the work daily from 9 until 3 and then during the overnight hours as well. The Georgia Department of Transportation saying construction will last through the summer of 2027. Does Atlanta's big airport stress you out? Well, Hartsfield-Jackson makes the top 10 list of the most stressful airports in the nation, according to rankings from Mood.com. Deborah Rodriguez telling us the most stressful airport.
Colorado's Aspen-Pitkin Airport has just been named the most stressful airport in the country. It scores a 4.95 out of 10, with almost 9% of its flights canceled and average departure delays topping 45 minutes.
And she says tiny Watertown International in upstate New York is the second most stressful, with an overall score of 4.68 and an 8.8% flight cancellation rate there. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 291 at 46,238. So the Dow's up more than 0.5%. NASDAQ and the S&P also in positive territory. It's 12:32.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
It's been a year since the last presidential election, and the economy has been on a roller coaster ever since. If you're in the home stretch, looking towards retirement, you may be feeling more anxious than ever about what the next few years could mean for your money. It's Eric Erickson here. If you're over 50 and have $500,000 or more saved for retirement, join me and fellow WSB radio show host, frequent guest on Fox Business with Stuart Varney and Charles Payne, David Nicholas of Nicholas Wealth Management, for a special live event Tuesday, October 7th at 6 p.m. at the Marietta Country Club. We'll break down what the post-election economy means for your retirement and the opportunities and risks that could impact you over the next year. Seating is very limited, so bring a spouse or a friend, enjoy food and drinks, and receive information that may help preserve your future. This is a registration-only event. Call 404-890-5606 or visit nicholaswealth.com to reserve your spot. Again, it's me, Eric Erickson, with David Nicholas, Tuesday, October 7th at 6 p.m. at Marietta Country Club. Don't miss it. Call 404-890-5606 or go to nicholaswealth.com. That's 404-890-5606 or nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and particular needs of any person who listens to this show. Eric Erickson is a current client and is paid for this ad.
All right, Alex Williams, how are we doing on the roads?
Watching brake lights right now, still from Marietta to Kennesaw with that right lane construction, 75 northbound at Chastain Road. Highway 41 Cobb Parkway might save you a few minutes there. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy today with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon and evening hours. Today's high is 80.
More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, welcome. It's Eric Erickson here. It's an open line Friday. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, very happy to have you today. Don't forget to text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. You can get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast. We got the Ryder Cup. It's now 3-1, Europe versus the United States. Yeah, the Ryder Cup. This is a great weekend in sports. You know, it ends on Sunday night with the Dallas Cowboys playing the Green Bay Packers with Michael Parsons, who was at the Cowboys, now at the Packers. They face each other for the first time. This is going to be a great weekend for sports. Lots of fantastic college football this weekend as well. Good games this weekend, finally. I've been kind of underwhelmed by the selection of college football games, but this weekend is great all around. I'm taking my kid to a Braves game. It's going to be a lot of fun for sports this weekend. Now we got to talk about what happened in Oklahoma. This is a larger national story. I want to set the stage for you with this next situation by talking about the situation in Oklahoma. Norman, Oklahoma, no less. Those of you listening out in Oklahoma are probably more familiar with the story than everyone else. I did not know it had happened until I saw this news clip. And it applies to every corner of this country, and I want to talk about that. But first, I want to play for you this local news story out in Oklahoma from Oklahoma City.
Councilwoman Bree Montoya was interacting with someone on Facebook, calling them uneducated before encouraging them to harm themselves. Those comments eventually gained a lot of traction online, which led to Montoya resigning on Tuesday.
I saw that she was a city council member within moments of her posting it, and I was like, wow, I can't believe that an elected official would talk like that online.
Abbott referring to this exchange she had with now former Norman council member Bree Montoya on Facebook. She says the two were arguing about the size of a crowd at a No Kings protest when she says Montoya's comments turned darker.
In various capacities, I have served this community since 2008, and I am ready to pursue other interests. Effective immediately, I am resigning as council member for Ward 3. Thank you, Ward 3.
Montoya resigned just this Tuesday, but to our surprise, we learned her comments towards Abbott were made back in June.
No one at City Hall, none of the people on the city council seemed to be concerned with any of it.
Abbott's screenshots were shared in Norman groups and says the exchange gained more traction once Libs of TikTok got a hold of it.
If it hadn't went viral with Libs of TikTok picking it up, I don't think that anything would have happened at all. I don't think there would have been a public apology, and I don't think that she would have resigned.
One man at Tuesday's meeting angry with the mayor about how the situation was handled.
Sir, you were quiet about this entire situation, and I think that just speaks to your integrity.
While others now want a code of conduct for the council, as this man says every major city in the metro has one, except for Norman.
You guys can present it to council. I'm pretty sure every one of you who have morals will approve it. Stop being the only city in the metro that doesn't have one.
By the way, let me just say I disagree with that last guy. God bless you for wanting a code of conduct, but I actually opposed my city's code of conduct when I was on our city council and our ethics commission, in large part because it was so obviously going to be wielded as a tool for partisan machinations. And in fact, I was able to kill it when I was on city council. And then it came up after I left and passed. And it has never been actually used for anything reasonable. It's been used by both sides to attack people on the other side for partisan gain. So kudos to Norman, Oklahoma for not passing one. It's just going to be weaponized. It's not actually going to be used for good purposes. But the larger issue here, what the woman actually said, what the city councilwoman actually told this lady was put a gun in your mouth and pull the trigger. Progressives in this country feel safe saying the nastiest stuff to conservatives. Now, I don't dispute there are people on the right who say nasty stuff. I've gotten my fair share of it from people on the right who are upset with me when I criticize Donald Trump, who apparently is the one person you can criticize Jesus, but you can't criticize Donald Trump among some people. But it's overwhelmingly safer in this country for progressives to be able to do it, in large part because the cultural media infrastructure in this country protects the left when they do terrible things. That's why the left is so outraged right now about people losing their jobs over saying terrible things about Charlie Kirk, because they've been willing and able to do it to people on the right for years, but no one's ever been able to do it to them, and suddenly it's happening to them. They're getting a taste of their own medicine, and they don't like it. And, you know, some smart people should be saying, hey, you know what? Maybe let's just cut it out on both sides. But no, what's going to happen is the left is at some point going to feel emboldened to do it again. They're not going to stop. They're getting a taste of their own medicine, and so what's going to happen when they get back into power is they're just going to do it even more. You can already see it coming. It's just very, very obvious here that that's what they're going to do. They don't really care. They just don't like it happening to themselves. I'm just really appalled, though, that a city councilwoman would engage in this level of behavior in Oklahoma, no less. I more expect that sort of behavior in like Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York City. And a lot of times what it comes from is we get online and we say, and listen, I am guilty of it. I mean, New York Times articles have been written about bad things I've said on social media in the past. Things I shouldn't have said, things I had to apologize for. Social media makes it really, really easy for us to hate, and the incentive structure online is for us to hate. I've mentioned Jonathan Haidt several times on this program. Jonathan Haidt, the buzz these days is about his call for banning cell phones on college, or not on college campuses, on classrooms in elementary and secondary education. So elementary and high school, banning cell phones. And it's a great idea, by the way. I mentioned the other day my son texted me from school and said that the boys were calling themselves Tylenol Americans now when they were doing dumb stuff, and it was very funny. And I got a couple emails from people saying, well, how does your son have a cell phone at school? I thought they're allowed breaks during the day at lunchtime and the like where they can text. But in the classroom, they're not allowed to pull out their phones. Some schools are confiscating the phones altogether during the day. You're not even allowed to have it on your person or even pull it out at lunch. It's one of the few bipartisan agreements in the country right now. The governor of California and the governor of Arkansas, not exactly ideologically sympathetic, are both fully on board banning cell phones in classrooms. I increasingly am of the mindset that we probably do need to do something about people on social media too. You know, much of the anti-Israel stuff that is coming through right now, supposedly from people inside the United States, is actually being generated from spam farms in Pakistan. There's a big report on this the other day that a lot of the spam bots you see out there, a lot of the anti-Semitic accounts are actually accounts that have originated in Pakistan, and they're hoping to seed other people to engage in like-minded ways. And I think this sort of thing that's happening, we're seeing this more and more across the board, where on the left and the right, people get seeded with ideas that come from spam bots, and they act accordingly. And here now we have this city councilwoman in Norman, Oklahoma, telling someone to put a gun in their mouth and pull the trigger. She felt comfortable on social media telling a constituent to commit suicide. I will say, to her credit, the city councilwoman resigned. A lot of people wouldn't even have the courage to resign after doing stuff like that these days. They double down on it. You see Chris Murphy from Connecticut, the awful stuff these days, or Eric Swalwell, who did the Bang Bang with Fang Fang. He's not resigning after doing the Bang Bang with Fang Fang. He's totally down getting on TV saying stupid stuff all the time. There are very few people in leadership in this country who are willing to actually resign after doing terrible things. There are very few corporate CEOs in this country who are willing to resign. You know, the other day, no, it's not the other day, last month, the CEO of a Japanese alcohol distributorship, one of the largest in the world, resigned. He didn't do anything wrong. Someone else in his family did something wrong that brought shame on his family, and he resigned from being the CEO of the company because, in his mind and in Japanese culture, bringing shame on his family brought shame on his company, and he quit. The Japanese still have a sense of shame that more and more Americans are losing, and it's actually a shame that we don't have a sense of shame in this country anymore. And frankly, it's one reason I'm okay with firing people who say Charlie Kirk should have died or he got what he deserved, because I think rebuilding a sense of shame and consequence for your words in this country is one way to rein in some of the really nasty stuff people are saying to each other right now. I don't really care whether you like Charlie Kirk or not. And if you want to get online and say he was a neo-Nazi bigot, okay. He wasn't, but okay. But my firm dividing line is when you say, so he got what he deserved. It's the got what he deserved part that you should be fired for. Wishing death on another American because they exercise their free speech right is beneath the dignity of any American. It was beneath the dignity of this city councilwoman in Oklahoma. She should have resigned, and I'm glad she did. But what's more stark and amazing to me is that the other members of the city council and the mayor were well aware of it since June and did nothing and said nothing and gave her a pass. Well, there's nothing I can do. None of them wanted to come out and say, I disagree. This isn't the way to treat a constituent. It's shame on the rest of the city council for not doing anything. She herself, when caught, had the decency to resign. They themselves should probably resign. Around the country, Americans are more and more comfortable treating each other poorly. I was asked a question last night about what brings the nation back together, and my answer was, unfortunately, I think global war or terrorism. And I hate to say it that way, but all of us, feel so comfortable these days hating each other. A lot of Americans have forgotten there are those out there who hate us because we're American. They don't care whether you're on the left or the right. They don't care who you voted for president. They hate you because you're an American. And a lot of Americans, we have forgotten that. A lot of Americans, we have forgotten there are people who hate us because we are American. And they feel comfortable hating their fellow American because they disagree on politics. They think their views are illegitimate. And the reality is, the truth is, at some point, we will be forced to come together, and some will still refuse. And the rest of society will begin to shun those people on the left and the right who refuse to come together. And unfortunately, it's probably going to take an intervening act by some bad actor abroad that brings this country back together. We don't have leadership on either the left or the right that wants to try to unite people. Both sides have become very comfortable using division to win, and frankly, it's an effective strategy. And then the left is so poisoned by Donald Trump. If Donald Trump stood up tomorrow and said, look, I'm sorry for the bad things I've said, but I love you all. Y'all are all Americans. Not a single person at CNN or MSNBC would believe him, and they would all attack him and condemn him. That's how poisoned the left is, because they're out of power. At some point, something wicked this way will come from abroad. A lot of concern about the Secretary of Defense having all the generals and admirals summoned to Washington for a private meeting. What's coming of that? What will be of that? Is it related to something on the world stage? I don't know. What I do know is this city councilwoman should have never said what she said, but she was right to resign, and I'm kind of shocked and appalled at the other members of city council in Norman, Oklahoma, who just kept their mouths shut and let it play out as if it was no big deal without saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't have done that. Maybe you should apologize. No one has a sense of shame anymore, including in a place like Oklahoma, which is just remarkable. In fact, I got to be honest with you, I didn't even know there were progressives in Oklahoma, but apparently there's at least one.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Erick Erickson Show.
1250 Cool Day Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory between Marietta and Kennesaw due to the right lane construction on 75 northbound at Chastain Road, exit 271. Highway 41 Cobb Parkway has really filled in as the main alternate there. Elsewhere, heading into downtown, already seeing that Friday volume southbound from the 85-400 merge as you head down to North Avenue. Traffic brought to you by Georgia United Credit Union. Dreaming of a home upgrade? A home equity line of credit from Georgia United can make it happen. Visit dreams.gucu.org today. Georgia United is an equal housing lender. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
Online,
on the app,
where you get your news.
is where you'll live.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
Oh my God!
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
I just won $1,000.
Just enter the word at WSBradio.com or on the WSB radio app. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2 p.m.
Dave Baker here for Randall Brothers. You know, I talk to a lot of quality contractors and builders every week, and I ask them, how do you manage to get all the right materials delivered to your site? The answer is always Randall Brothers. Turns out, that's what Randall Brothers does. Make sure you have the right materials delivered to the right place, hassle-free. And they've been doing that for over 140 years. With the widest selection of quality building materials delivered to your build site with no hassle, it's no wonder Randall Brothers is trusted by the pros. See more at randallbrothers.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Get a head start on holiday home prep with help from Zerorez. It's Patrick, owner of Zerorez. Getting all of those neglected stains out doesn't require chemicals and harsh soaps. No way. ZR Water technology gets your carpets cleaner and lasts longer. Save up to $30. The more rooms you clean, the more you save. Mention WSB to secure this deal or book online at ZerorezAtlanta.com and ask about our Zerorez commercial cleaning too. Zerorez. Spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Missed part of today's show? Catch it again in full with the Eric Erickson Show 24/7 live stream. Available at ericerickson.com. Stream enabled for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very happy to have you. We got a lot going on out there today, in addition to the Ryder Cup, which I have on in the background on my giant TV screen, where Europe leads 3-1. Okay. I got to tell you, I got a great quote. In fact, if you get the show notes today, you get my quote. It's in there, and it's a phenomenal quote. It's in the Boston Globe. It's a profile of my buddy Russ Vought, who the Democrats are about to put in charge. Here is my quote. If I were a Democrat, the thought of empowering the head of Office of Management and Budget in a Republican shutdown would give me pause. If I were a Democrat and Russ Vought was in charge of OMB, I would have nightmares about what Russ could do that you couldn't undo when government reopens. Russ has waited for this moment his whole life. And my goodness, he has. And the Democrats don't know what they are walking into with this government shutdown. Russ Vought is getting all sorts of attention as the Democrats careen towards the shutdown. If the Democrats don't fund the government within the next 4 or 5 days, it runs out of money and the government shuts down. And historically, both sides have agreed to clean funding resolutions. That is, you essentially take everything you're doing right now and just agree to continue it. You can fight over the details later. But the Democrats have decided that, among other things, they want their hill to die on to be funding health care for illegal aliens, of all things. And they think they will pay no political, they'll actually have horrible consequences if they don't have this fight with their base. With the voters, it may just cost them everything. We'll see. Now, let me tell you about Old Glory Bank, my bank. You can have them too if you go to oldglorybank.com/Eric. oldglorybank.com/ERICK. Old Glory Bank is a bank by conservatives for conservatives. It was started out in Oklahoma City by a group of conservatives who wanted to find a new bank that they could use and not have to worry about progressives taking over and shutting down the bank accounts of conservatives. They want to protect your freedoms. They don't like it when banks add regulations that you can't make certain purchases with your debit card for things that are legal, like a gun. So you could use your Old Glory debit card instead of having to put it on a credit card. It just works. Businesses, you get great business accounts as well. In fact, I've referred a number of gun stores to Old Glory Bank because they're not going to have to worry about debanking trends with them. They're very hands-on with businesses as well in terms of loans and things like that. oldglorybank.com. That's the bank, oldglorybank.com. But if you go to oldglorybank.com/Eric, I get the credit for you signing up. I've got a bank account with them. No fee checking, no fee savings. If you're a veteran, they've got great deals for you. oldglorybank.com/Eric. oldglorybank.com/ERICK. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
In Atlanta, there is always something happening.
Tanker truck crashed into the median.
The Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
No traffic getting through in either direction.
Helping you on your commute.
Avoid the area at all costs. Take Highway 155 or Highway 4223.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're a different kind of wireless company dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Because let's face it, our needs are different. Big wireless unlimited plans are designed for 20-somethings, not us. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on one thing, bringing you affordable, reliable rate plans that suit your needs, not ours. How do we do that? We start by using the same towers as the big guys, the exact same towers. We then create rate plans designed for your usage. The fact is, we can offer you an unlimited plan with the same network quality for less because we understand how you use wireless services. Our plans start at just $20 a month. And forget trying to chat with robots. You'll get 100% US-based award-winning customer service when you need help. Come find out how wireless should be and join the millions who have made the switch.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/fax. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Dr. Roof. 2 women stabbed at a Cobb County motel, where that same hotel is where a baby was shot and killed earlier this week.
Cobb County police say they were called to the Budgetel Inn on Circle 75 Parkway just after midnight. That's when they found Amatria Hawkins with multiple stab wounds. She was taken to the hospital where she later died. A second victim, Janiyah Jenkins, was treated at the hospital for severe lacerations to her hand. She's listed as stable. Atlanta police arrested a suspect, Frank Moore, in connection with the stabbings. They say he knew the victims. Moore has been charged with felony murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a knife during the commission of a felony. In Cobb County, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
So your weather for today. Cloudy this afternoon. On and off rain showers are possible, as well as a few thunderstorms. Highs around 80. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast with WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards coming up in just a few minutes. A former Gainesville High School teacher and golf coach is indicted on sex charges involving several students. Cameron Milholland, accused of sending sexually explicit images and videos to 3 students. He's now been indicted on charges of child molestation, computer pornography, and 3 counts of improper sexual conduct by an employee. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy today announcing an emergency rule restriction on who can get a license to drive a big rig. U.S. non-citizens are restricted.
The process for issuing these licenses is absolutely 100% broken. It has become a threat to public safety, and it is a national emergency that requires action right now.
Now, the new rules will require an employee-based visa and mandatory federal immigration status checks. Does your car have a backup camera? New research finds that they really do save lives. Jeff Gilbert says so much so, in fact, that some are saying that they even need to be installed in older cars.
Backup cameras help drivers see small children. University of Texas research shows a big drop in deaths and serious injuries since those cameras were required on vehicles.
We are doing an excellent job of recognizing severe and dangerous issues related to car safety.
Author Dr. Jeanette Jolly says more children could be protected if backup cameras were also installed on older vehicles.
A new round of tariffs are set to go into effect next week. Pharmaceutical products will be subject to a 100% tariff starting October 1st, unless the drug maker is building a manufacturing plant in the United States. Tom Smith is an economist and finance professor at Emory University's School of Business.
All it's going to do is push those prices right along to consumers, and drug prices are an area where consumers are already very heavily hit.
And he says even a year he says even a year is not likely enough time for the U.S. drug industry to build the required infrastructure necessary to meet the U.S. supply demands. It's 1:02.
By executive order from Rufus, the Findlay Roofing chief barking officer, they're rolling rolling out a $1,000 discount on your Findlay roof replacement. Hey, it's Dave Baker for the only roofer I answer the door for, Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Stop repairing the leaks and dragging your feet. Now is the best time to replace that old, leaky, haunted roof and save 1,000 bones. Findlay has replaced over 65,000 roofs locally. That's no trick. It's just high-quality work, upfront pricing, and exceptional service. Findlay goes the distance. They're the extra effort experts, making sure you have a remarkable roof replacement experience. Findlay also has 0% financing available, and for a limited time, you can save $1,000 on your roof replacement. Hurry! You need to shake on this deal by Halloween. Schedule your free roof analysis at FindlayRoofing.com.
Hi, I'm Becca, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As an in-house designer, I can't wait for you to see our incredible selection of stylish and stackable rings. If you're shopping for your wedding bands, we have high-quality designs for every style and budget, from romantic to modern. If you're looking to add to a stack, your options are endless. Discover styles with clusters of gemstones, sleek all-metal designs, updated cigar bands, and signet rings perfect for an engraving. Because a friend knows you like options. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
If you've ever organized your closet only to have it look like a bomb went off in there 1 month later, then it's time to call Artisan Custom Closets. Reach-in closets, walk-in closets, pantry spaces, garages. With a custom spacious closet from Artisan, you'll never have to deal with all that clutter again. All your stuff neatly organized and designed to stay that way. Call the Closet Bomb Squad, Artisan Custom Closets. They'll diffuse your clutter and make it safe to enter your closet again. ArtisanCustomClosets.com.
Hey everyone, it's your buddy Shelly Winter here. Join me this Saturday at noon for the Car Guys with Kevin Deutsch from Butler Lexus of South Atlanta. Buy or lease, fix or sell, everything you want to know about cars, we will cover Saturday noon to 1 right here on 95.5 WSB.
It's 1:05. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Alex Williams with a look at your roads.
Watching the brake light battle between Marietta and Kennesaw with that right lane construction. 75 northbound Chastain Road, exit number 271. That's got you jammed up out of Marietta. Highway 41 Cobb Parkway has been slow as an alternate. Trouble just moved off to the right. 575 northbound at Barrett Parkway. So that brake light, the delays leaving I-75 should start to improve heading up toward Woodstock. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon. High 80. Lows tonight in the mid-60s. A few pop-up storms tomorrow can't be ruled out. High 81. Sunday, partly cloudy skies. High 83.
It is 82 degrees in Norcross. Decula has 80 degrees. And in Peachtree City, 80 degrees right now. We'll have more news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. This Open Line Friday, 877-973-7425. If you would like to be on the program, you can call in. If you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. You can subscribe to the show notes, get the live stream, all that stuff. By the way, I sincere thank you to the number of you who have actually subscribed to the show notes in the last week. I wasn't really being flippant when I was talking about all the security stuff now I got to go through and pay for, and your subscription actually helps us be able to cover those costs. So thank you to all of you who texted Eric to 33777 and subscribe to the show notes. It's what a weird, wild world. I joined a golf club. Y'all, being middle age, you know, you get into like World War II and smoking meats and golf, and I have gotten into all of the above. And there's this golf club called In Town Golf in Atlanta, and it's not like an outside golf course. It's all TrackMan simulators. It's fantastic, incredible menu. It's private. You can't get through the front door unless you're a member. So don't get bothered, and it's just great. Although I got to tell you, I have gotten to that point, and I had to like check myself. Normally I've got people around me to keep me humble, but I've been there now several times. It's like, this is kind of wild. I'm in like my key demo here, surrounded by these people, and no one recognizes me. And last night as I was leaving, some guy came up to me. He says, "I've seen you in here like 3 times. We're not supposed to bother each other. I just wanted to tell you, I like your show." It's like, well, I appreciate that very much. Oh, we're not supposed to bother each other. Well, dang it, I just was bothering the people next to me. This husband and wife who were in there hitting golf balls, and the poor wife looked like she was going to murder her husband. And I went up to him and said, y'all are kind of my heroes. My wife and I, we got one more kid at home. The other's in college. We got to find hobbies together. My wife's taken up motorcycles, and I've taken up golf, and neither of us are really interested in taking up the other's hobby. And life is like, same deal. She decided she would go with golf, but now she wants to murder her husband. It's going to become an obsession, lady. It is. Now, I want to talk to you about something that's not political. It's really not. I'm kind of tired of all the political headlines. I'm kind of talking about people getting shot in violence. And I continue, and I know some of you aren't, and hopefully I can entice you to be just intrigued by this AI building spree that's happening in the country, because I have a sneaking suspicion that we are in another .com bubble. Do y'all remember back in the late 90s, early 2000s? You had all of these companies that came online and all these .com companies that no longer exist that were advertising on the Super Bowl. I mean, you had Pets.com back in the day, and all the companies that just went out of business. And it was kind of wild to see all of these massive companies that just kind of collapsed. You had 360 Networks, Airspan, Akamai, Alta Vista. Remember Alta Vista, one of the original search engines? Boo.com, an online retailer. The Books A Million transition. CD Now. Not all of them fell out of the way, but a lot of these companies that were just very, very famous and then collapsed. Egghead Software. Remember eToys? Excite, Floors.com, FLOOZ.com, TheGlobe.com, Global Crossing was a big one. GeoCities, let's not forget what Fox News, Rupert Murdoch, bought MySpace. There was iVillage, there was Lycos. I'm just running through a list of them, some of the ones they did. Of course, there was Netscape. Very famous of the day, Pets.com, went bankrupt in 2000, rose to sponsor the Super Bowl. Razorfish, Radvision, Register.com, all these companies in this massive bubble. And then, of course, there was Yahoo back in the day. Yahoo it just exploded and then kind of collapsed, and the name is still around. There's value in the name, but good grief. Some of them stayed, a lot of them didn't. And now we're at the weird turn where this AI build-out is happening. So there's a guy near me who will go nameless, who owns a lot of land and lives in a very sleepy bedroom community that is such a sleepy bedroom community. It's one of those places where you can head north on the interstate and take an exit to get off into this community, but you can't continue north. And the reason is because north of this community is Atlanta, and they don't want people moving from Atlanta to the community and exploding the growth, so there's no interstate on-ramp that heads north. And this guy with this land has been trying to sell it forever and hasn't been able to sell it, and decided that he wanted to get planning and zoning to change its designation from, I think, agriculture to industrial, to be able to put an AI data center on the land. And people in that community went nuts. One of the big stories in the local newspaper up there, in the Monroe County Reporter, was he was caught on a trail cam tearing up a sign, allegedly, that was against this AI data center that would have been built. It was a big local scandal in my community. No one wanted this data center except for the people who own the land that are trying to get rid of the land and can't. If I had won the lottery, I would have bought the land. I didn't win the lottery, so I won't buy the land. It's overpriced. Nonetheless, Ellendale, North Dakota has 1,100 people, 2 motels, a Dollar General, a Pentecostal Bible college, and a half-built AI factory that is bigger than 10 Home Depots. Its more than $15 billion price tag is equivalent to a quarter of the state's annual economic output. This is the Wall Street Journal. The artificial intelligence boom has ushered in one of the costliest building sprees in world history. Over the past 3 years, leading tech firms have committed more towards AI data centers, plus chips and energy, than it costs to build the interstate highway system over 4 decades, when adjusted for inflation. AI proponents call it the Industrial Revolution, and there's just one problem. No one's sure how it will get their investment back or when. The building rush is speculative. That technology will rapidly improve, transform the economy, and start producing steady profits. I hope we don't take 50 years, says the CEO of Microsoft. Yeah, well, we're all investing as if it's not going to take 50 years, says Mark Zuckerberg in response, who surmised at a recent White House dinner the company's U.S. spending through 2028 was probably going to be something like $800 or $600 billion. Silicon Valley watchers worry the enthusiasm for AI has turned into a bubble that has increasingly loud echoes of the one from the late 90s. Yes. Then telecom companies spent over $100 billion blanketing the country with fiber optic cables on the belief the internet's growth would be so explosive most any investment was justified. The result was a massive overbuilding that made telecom the hardest hit sector in the dot-com bubble. Industry giants toppled like dominoes. Global Crossing, WorldCom, 360 Networks, ones I've just mentioned. Today, the typically dull world of chips and data centers has become a raging multi-hundred-billion-dollar battleground where Silicon Valley giants one-up each other with spending commitments and sci-fi names. I have to tell you something. I have used, as I have said, all of these AI engines. I've used Claude. I've used Perplexity. I've used ChatGPT. I've used Grok. They all suck eventually. People are mesmerized by AI right now because of all the stuff it can do. But if you use it long enough, it starts to break down, and no one knows why. Literally, nobody has any idea why. The longer you use an AI system, the more it wants to give you what it thinks you want as opposed to the truth. In fact, I was talking to a guy who is a dear friend of mine, who is a venture capitalist, who was telling me that the greatest use of AI has not been to replace employees, but to make their employees more efficient so they can take on more work. And where AI is very good is when it's doing numbers things, manipulating spreadsheets and assessing data. But over time, it too begins to break down. Now, side note, there's actually some really compelling research out there now among college kids who have been using ChatGPT since high school. It's been around a lot longer than you may think. And here's the weird and crazy part. The kids who have now begun to regularly rely on AI are the ones who are the worst at critical thinking. My personal pet theory is that AI is not making smart people stupid. It's making stupid people seem smart. And when they get off the AI, suddenly people realize they're stupid. But there are these massive AI facilities being built around the country now. And by the way, they generate a ton of heat and a ton of noise. They consume a lot of power. And no one is really getting their money out of it. It just seems very weird, the amount of money these companies are spending. It's like a gold rush, and we're not going to see it. David Kahn, a partner at venture capital firm Sequoia, estimates that the money invested in AI infrastructure in 2023 and 24 alone requires consumers and companies to buy roughly $800 billion in AI products over the life of these chips and data centers to produce a good investment return. Analysts believe most AI processors have a useful life of between 3 and 5 years. Think about that. This week, consultants at Bain & Company estimated the wave of AI infrastructure spending will require $2 trillion in annual AI revenue by 2030. By comparison, that's more than the combined 2024 revenue of Amazon, Apple, Alphabet, which is Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and NVIDIA, and more than 5 times the size of the entire global subscription software market. Morgan Stanley estimates that last year, there was around $45 billion of revenue for AI products. The sector makes money from a combination of subscription fees for chatbots, such as ChatGPT, and money paid to use these companies' data centers. Have you all seen all the ads for Watson? IBM's Watson? What can Watson do for you? It's always seemed like a marketing ploy, and I'm told it more and less is, but it's the original IBM AI. Watson was going to be some brilliant way to solve things and make things work. IBM has never really been able to do much with it. We are in an economic bubble right now with AI, and that bubble is on the verge of bursting, I'm afraid. And all of these data centers, or many of them, I think we're probably going to be empty within 10 years. We don't have enough power in the grid to supply them. There's not enough demand for them. And the companies that are using them, they're not seeing a rate of return on them. Think about this, that you're going to need to be spending $2 trillion within the next 5 years to be able to get the money back on building these data centers. And the companies that are using AI right now are not seeing a return on the investment. They see no reason to continue using AI. We're fearful of all the jobs that are going to be lost and everything else. And there's some incredible applications with AI. But overall, it's not panning out. People are falling for the spin. The reality is that we are not seeing it. And I do believe it's going to get better and better and better. I do believe it is. I just have a hard time believing it's going to get good enough for these companies that are building these massive data centers to make their money back. Here's my one request. If there's anyone in government listening to me today, please don't bail them out. Please do not decide that ChatGPT or these others are too big to fail. Let them fail. Let them go bankrupt. Let the creative destruction of the marketplace take effect. And things will sort themselves out better than if the government comes along and tries to fix it. Please, we are headed towards something. These people and here's the other weird thing. So this company, Ellendale, North Dakota, once this place is built, there aren't going to be a lot of employees. The AI data center is largely self-sustaining. So you're getting these massive facilities built in rural parts of the country, using all the excess power on the power grid, and there aren't going to create a lot of jobs either. Spending a lot of money, very few jobs. We are in a bubble, and you can start to see it from a mile away.
Those who love him, listen to what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
121 Cool Rate Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still a rough afternoon through Marietta and Kennesaw due to that right lane construction. 75 northbound Chastain Road, exit 271. You slow back in Marietta. Express lanes should be pointing northbound now, and that can help out as an alternate. Highway 41 as well. Heading into downtown, seeing that Friday volume fill in. 75-85 southbound from 17th Street as you head down toward Cortlandt Street. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Boost your day at Whole Foods Market. Get 30% off all packaged coffee with Prime through September 30th while supplies last. Shop in store or online. Terms apply. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It pays to have the WSB radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
The WSB 5K Day Bonus Blitz. 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000.
$1,000 on WSB.
The WSB 5K Day Bonus Blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2 p.m.
That is awesome.
From 95.5 WSB.
Download the WSB radio app now.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
You worked hard for your 401k, but if you've left your job, your money might be sitting in the wrong hands. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and it's very possible that the 401k that you have had for years has hidden fees and limited investment choices. But if you're no longer with the company, that 401k may be at the mercy of your former employer. All of these things could be costing you thousands. Rolling over your 401k into an IRA can provide better investment options that align with your long-term goals. At Trajan Wealth, we're fiduciary advisors that are held to a higher standard with no hidden agenda and no hidden fees. Don't let your retirement dollars sit in an old plan, and don't roll it over to your new plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Advisory services are offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
It's the hardest working part of your home, your garage door. When it fails, you need someone you can trust. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. When the largest and most important opening of your home breaks, don't hire a schmo. Call the local name you know, All Four Seasons. Ask your neighbors. We offer upfront pricing, free estimates on all major brands, and 24/7 service. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
This is Mike Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers.
And this is Jonathan Geller. And Dad, you've got to admit, our history is pretty cool. 86 years, 3 generations of love stories.
What keeps us going is that we've still got the best jewelry and diamonds at prices nobody can beat.
It all comes down to the best jewelry, best service, and best prices at D. Geller & Son in Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Affordable jewelry for everyone is at D. Geller & Son.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're a different kind of wireless company dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Because let's face it, our needs are different. Big wireless unlimited plans are designed for 20-somethings, not us. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on one thing, bringing you affordable, reliable rate plans that suit your needs, not ours. How do we do that? We start by using the same towers as the big guys, the exact same towers. We then create rate plans designed for your usage. The fact is, we can offer you an unlimited plan with the same network quality for less because we understand how you use wireless services. Our plans start at just $20 a month. And forget trying to chat with robots. You'll get 100% US-based award-winning customer service when you need help. Come find out how wireless should be and join the millions who've made the switch.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hello there, it's Eric Erickson here, 877-973-7425, an open line Friday. Let's get to calls. Let's begin with Joe. You're up first, Joe. Welcome. Joe, you there? Well, you know what, Joe? I'm going to put you on hold because I suspect you're there, but we had a software issue here a little while ago, and so let's double check these when we come back from commercial break. Sorry, y'all, we got an update in our call screening software system like 5 minutes before the show started, so let's make sure that that's the issue here before we hang up on Joe. We'll see if he's there when we come back. When I come back as well, I have mentioned to you guys the Mississippi Miracle. You know the Mississippi Miracle, they're calling it. Mississippi is suddenly leading the nation in reading. Yes, Mississippi is leading the nation in reading. And, well, it's not that students in Mississippi are just improving. It's that students in Mississippi are genuinely exploding in their ability to read. It really is a miracle what they're doing. And other states, progressive states, have been dismissive of it because it's Mississippi. And it turns out it's not because Mississippi's not cooking the day to y'all. There's something really happening in Mississippi and Louisiana and Alabama and Tennessee. And I want to get to that, but I'll take your phone calls when we come back. We'll sort out this call screening situation. 877-973-7425. First, let me tell you about AFP, Americans for Prosperity. They would love to have you engage with them and take a step for freedom in your community. You can go to afpvolunteer.com to find out more, afpvolunteer.com. Americans for Prosperity is committed to advancing freedom in the country, limited government. They want you on board. And right now, what they're trying to do is trying to commit Americans to take just one step for freedom in their community. And if 250,000 people do the same thing, then they'll be able to engage 250,000 Americans taking a step for freedom, and it's just going to work. AFPvolunteer.com is what you want to do, AFPvolunteer.com, and you'll be able to go sign up with AFP. You'll have just a remarkable experience getting to know other people in your community committed to freedom, and we will dramatically improve this country. AFPvolunteer.com. AFPvolunteer.com is where you want to go. Your phone calls when we come back, and the Mississippi Miracle that is real.
Coming up on the Monday edition of Atlanta's Morning News from 5 to 9, Chris Chandler returns to guide you through another week. Christina Edwards updates her forecast while eyeing a tropical system brewing in the Atlantic. Plus, Clark Howard helps navigate the treacherous waters of healthcare bills on WSB.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. This is new this afternoon. A warning's being issued about certain Heat and Eat beef meatball pasta meals. They were sold at Walmart nationwide. The reason is they may be contaminated with listeria. This listeria was previously linked to a deadly outbreak. It's the market-side linguine with beef meatballs and marinara sauce that was sold in refrigerated 12-ounce clear plastic trays. They say that these products have a best buy date of September 22nd through October 1st, so you may still have it in your refrigerator. You are being urged to toss it out. Do not eat it. You can also take it back for a refund. All right, so what can you expect weather-wise this afternoon? On and off rain showers are possible, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards, and a few thunderstorms with a high this afternoon around 80. Atlanta police have arrested a suspect in connection with that deadly stabbing we told you about earlier in DeKalb County. 46-year-old Frank Moore is now charged with felony murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a knife during the commission of a felony. This was at the Budgetel Inn on Circle 75 Parkway. 2 women stabbed, 1 died, the others at the hospital. Detectives say the victim knew the suspect. The investigation is ongoing. Heads up, a bridge replacement project could impact your drive on Briarcliff Road near Emory University. The school saying replacement of that bridge in Briarcliff over Peachtree Creek will lead to delays and single lane closures. Crews will carry out those closures daily from 9 until 3 and then during the overnight hours. So the Georgia Department of Transportation says construction will last for quite a while. It's going to last through the summer of 2027. If you're thinking about getting your flu shot in DeKalb County, it's going to be a little bit easier starting tomorrow. They're offering drive-through vaccination clinics at the Lou Walker Senior Center in Lithonia.
Anyone who wants to receive a vaccine should bring their insurance information, photo ID, as these vaccinations are available at no cost with most private insurance and with Medicaid and Medicare.
That is DeKalb Public Health Interim Director Dr. Lynn Paxton. She says they'll be going on from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m., and you do not need to register. It's 1:32.
Those wire shelves in your closet are just a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. Dave Baker for Artisan Custom Closets. At Artisan, we see it all the time. The wire shelves come crashing down. Clothes, shoes, bags are everywhere. It's a disaster zone. Save yourself before this happens to you. With a custom, spacious closet from Artisan, you'll never have to look at that clutter again. Your shoes, bags, clothes, accessories, all neatly organized and designed to stay that way. ArtisanCustomClosets.com.
Another accident? What happened? Our truck driver got cut off, and they're getting blamed. No witnesses, no proof, and insurance is skyrocketing.
Wait, our drivers shouldn't take the blame for this?
Exactly why we need Samsara. Their AI dashcam show real-time video proving when our drivers aren't at fault.
So we protect our drivers and avoid false claims?
Yep. Companies using Samsara have exonerated their drivers and saved millions on insurance.
Protect your drivers and your bottom line at Samsara.com. Samsara. Operate smarter.
Belinda here with another satisfied patient with a great story to tell you about Atlanta Vision Institute. Lisa had the laser optics procedure. Why did you choose Atlanta Vision Institute?
Well, I'd been wearing contacts or glasses for the last 50 years and decided one day that I'd had enough. I have an active lifestyle and the glasses just were getting in the way.
Now, after the procedure with Dr. Ashraf at Atlanta Vision Institute, what were the results like?
It was amazing. I could see the highway signs from far away, and I was able to thread the needle on my sewing machine without any help.
Nobody can do that. That's amazing. Folks, if you feel like you're at your wit's end with your vision, why don't you go see Dr. Ashraf at Atlanta Vision Institute? Go to 2020atlanta.com and see if you're a candidate for the laser optics procedure. Go to 2020atlanta.com.
Hey friends, have you filed an insurance claim for a roof replacement only to be denied? Are you not sure what to do? You're not alone. Dr. Roof here to help. Hey, it's Mark Aram. Dr. Roof specializes in reviewing the storm damage and getting your roof replaced. They've been around for over 37 years and can help you with all of your options. Don't settle for a denied or partial insurance claim. Get the roof you deserve with Dr. Roof online at drroof.com.
All right, quickly, Alex Williams, how are we looking on the roads?
Travel advisory continues into Kennesaw with that right lane construction, 75 northbound at Chastain Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy today with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon and evening hours. Today's high is 80.
All right, we'll have more news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
All right, I think we got this phone situation sorted out. It is Eric Erickson and an open line Friday, and the phone number is 877-973-7425. Joe's been waiting patiently. Joe, welcome to the Eric Erickson Show. How are you?
Oh, thanks, man. I'm doing great, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. I think most conservatives, or a lot of conservatives anyway, have kind of a natural mistrust of government and authority, but I think with some people that has kind of metastasized into like a paranoia that makes them very susceptible to believing all kinds of weird conspiracy stuff. And I'm seeing this come out with the Charlie Kirk killing, and I'm just wondering, is the best strategy just to hope that people who believe this is a psyop or some, deep conspiracy, is the best strategy just to ignore these people, or should it be addressed head on, or, from people like you who have an audience? I don't know how you deal with it. It just, this is creeping in, not just social media, but people who I'm talking to in real life, and it's kind of disturbing. So how do you respond to this stuff?
I got to tell you, you've got to be measured in your response, because first of all, what you can do, and what I have to do, what I have to remind myself is, you can go down rabbit holes yourself trying to respond to these people, and you're just, in most cases, wasting your time. The best way to respond is, if you have an actual, meaningful, real relationship with the person, maybe consider having a conversation with them. If it's just some person you follow on social media and they're not your real life friend, you wouldn't invite over to your house, I'd ignore it and not make eye contact with it, because I got a lot of people who I consider friends, but I've never met them in real life. We interact constantly on a regular basis on social media. We may text message each other. We hadn't met in person. We hadn't grabbed a beer together, but I still consider them a friend. We talk all the time, and I try not to make eye contact when they go down these crazy rabbit holes. But the guys that I know that are real friends, that we will go to a Braves game or have a cigar or something, those are the ones that I'll sit down with and just say, listen, I think you're wrong. Here's why. And we can agree to disagree because we have that relationship.
Because there are so many levels of plausibility that you can examine and you can tell somebody about, that where it just kind of destroys some of these weird conspiracies. And I guess you're right, because, you know, people want to believe it. They're going to believe it. I think that there are people who they just have a mindset of, well, the government lied about this, so they must be lying about that. And that's really as far as their brains could take them. And, you know, you really just can't get through to those people.
No, you really can't. And listen, there are some people who they feel safe in conspiracy because the world. I mean, we as human beings, we try to either simplify the complex or complicate the simple. It's how we process things, and
it gives them a focus for their paranoia and for their. It makes them feel like they're in control somewhat because they can understand this big conspiracy, and you know it gives them a focus for their paranoia and uncertainty, and there's really no way you're going to be able to talk your way around that.
No, you're not. In fact, let me read you this. And Joe, thanks for being patient. Let me read you this. And let me encourage any of you, if you can ever find a copy of G.K. Chesterton's Orthodoxy, the madman's explanation of a thing is always complete. And often, in a purely rational sense, satisfactory. Or, to speak more strictly, the insane explanation, if not conclusive, is at least unanswerable. This may be observed especially in the 2 or 3 commonest kinds of madness. If a man says, for instance, that men have a conspiracy against him, you cannot dispute it, except by saying that all the men deny that they are conspirators, which is exactly what conspirators would do. His explanation covers the facts as much as yours. Or if a man says he's the rightful king of England, it is no complete answer to say that the existing authorities call him mad, for if he were king of England, that might be the wisest thing for the existing authorities to do. Or if a man says that he is Jesus Christ, it is no answer to tell him that the world denies his divinity, for the world denies Christ's. Nevertheless, he's wrong, but if we attempt to trace his error in exact terms, we shall not find it quite as easy as we have supposed. Perhaps the nearest we can get to expressing it is to say this, that his mind moves in a perfect but narrow circle. A small circle is quite as infinite as a large circle, but though it is quite as infinite, it is not as large. In the same way, the insane explanation is quite as complete as the sane one, but is not so large. A bullet is quite as, a bullet is quite as round as the world, but it is not the world. There is no such thing as a narrow universality. There is such a thing as a small and cramped eternity. You may see it in many modern religions. Now, speaking externally and empirically, we may say that the strongest and most unmistakable mark of a madness is this combination between a logical completeness and a spiritual contraction. The lunatic's theory explains a large number of things, but it does not explain them in a large way. I mean that if you or I were dealing with a mind that was growing morbid, we should be chiefly concerned not so much to give it arguments as to give it air, to convince it that there was something cleaner and cooler outside the suffocation of a single argument. Suppose, for instance, it were the first case that I took as typical. Suppose it were the case of a man who accused everybody of conspiring against him. If we could express our deepest feelings of protest and appeal against this obsession, I suppose we should say something like, "Oh, I admit that you have your case and have it by heart, and that many things do fit into other things as you say. I admit that your explanation explains a great deal, but what a great deal it leaves out. And are there no other stories in the world except yours? And are all men busy with your business? Suppose we grant the details. Perhaps when the man in the street did not seem to see you, it was only his cunning. Perhaps when the policeman asked you your name, it was only because he knew it already. But how much happier you would be if you only knew that these people cared nothing about you. How much larger your life would be if yourself could become smaller in it. If you could really look at other men with common curiosity and pleasure. If you could see them walking as they are in their sunny selfishness and their virile indifference. You would begin to be interested in them because they were not interested in you. You would break out of this tiny and tawdry theater in which your own little plot is always being played, and you would find yourself upon a freer sky in a street full of splendid strangers. Or suppose it was the second case of madness, that of a man who claimed the crown. Your impulse would be to answer, all right, perhaps you know that you are the King of England, but why do you care? Make one magnificent effort and you will be a human being and look down on all the kings of the earth. Or it might be the third case, the madman who calls himself Christ. If we said what we felt, we should say, so you are the creator and redeemer of the world. But what a small world it must be. What a little heaven you must inhabit, with angels no bigger than butterflies. How sad it would be to be God and an inadequate God. Is there really no life fuller and no love more marvelous than yours? And is it really in your small and painful pity that all flesh must put its faith? How much happier you would be, how much more of you there would be, if the hammer of a higher God could smash your small cosmos, scattering the stars like spangles and leave you in the open, free like other men, to look up as well as down. And it must be remembered that the most purely practical science does not take this view of mental evil. It does not seek to argue with it like a hearsay or heresy, but simply to snap it like a spell. Neither modern science nor ancient religion believes in complete free thought. Now, what he's basically saying here is that the people who believe in conspiracies tend to believe themselves the center of the universe. And they tend to simplify the complex because they consider themselves rational and smart, and yet they cannot rationalize the complex. And they tend to complicate the simple because in their ego, there must be more than there is. And if you can try to get them outside their ego, you might be able to get them outside the conspiracy. It's a great read, actually. I'm not going to continue reading on, but it goes on for quite a while on the madman and his experience as quite a successful reasoner, and that is the conspiracy theorist is quite a successful reasoner. They can connect all the dots that no one else can see and are convinced of their success in connecting the dots because of their ego. Get them outside their ego, and you can get them outside the conspiracy theory, which is why you'll fail with Candace Owens, because there's no way to get that woman outside her ego. Jim in Springfield, Ohio, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Eric. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate you, and thank you for coming to Dayton. I guess it was last week.
Yeah, it was last week, and I didn't get an event scheduled there. I actually had to be in Columbus, but did the show in Dayton. But I plan on coming back and doing an event, and I'll let you know when I do.
Well, I appreciate that, and don't always agree, but I'm going to tell you what, I leave your show always more informed. You're a true gentleman. I appreciate
Thank you.
And wanted to just let you know, put a smile on your face. I'm in Springfield, of course, and our BMV in the southern part of Clark County closed yesterday, and that actually sits kind of in what we call Little Haiti, and it involves apparently a lot of fraud in regards to the issues of licenses, instruction permits, renewals, et cetera, et cetera. So we don't have a BMV on the southern part of the county. They forced the deputy registrar to resign, and I went in there and got my real ID in April. It's on my side of town when I'm there, and that's where all the Haitians go to get their licenses. And just an update on Springfield, I can tell you ICE is in, and they're also in Dayton, and the work permits they're ending. They're pretty much flooding the zone in the apartment complexes and the housing. So along with these benefits that are ending, state benefits that are ending, but hopefully it won't be long. It's been an awful experience for locals for 2 years.
So, Jim, it's funny you say that, because when I was in Dayton on Friday, I was talking to one of the guys at WHIO, and he was saying the same thing, that the work permits expire shortly and that ICE is already massing in the area ready to deport everybody once the work permits expire, and that people are starting to leave as a result. In anticipation, they're trying to get out before ICE rounds them up, which isn't a bad way to do it.
Yeah, yes, I can see a difference I'm a retired administrator, teacher, and coach. I do some gig work like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, et cetera. And they pretty much took all that over, and I've seen a big difference in the numbers. I hardly see them out anymore doing that. And then I was told that why this work permit situation, and some of the plants like Dole, the major plants and stuff, are laying them off or not hiring them because they know they're going to have to leave. They're kind of ICE is kind of focusing in on the apartment complexes and the housing situation and finding people that are not supposed to be there. So I don't wish bad on anybody. We just got overwhelmed, and when you see everybody with the grocery carts full in Walmart and free housing and 800 credit scores and free insurance and new cars, it just caused a lot of division in the community. It's certainly not a racial thing.
Right.
And it's just going to be better when the governor and the mayor just didn't make the right decisions. And so it's just time for everybody to move on. But I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you very much.
Jim, I appreciate the update there. I knew those work permits were coming up and that ICE was moving in. And, yeah, also interesting on people at the DMV just handing out the IDs to the Haitians. You know, this is becoming a big thing down in Florida where there have now been 2 wrecks that have led to fatalities in Florida, where it was California that had issued licenses to illegal immigrants. And the illegal immigrants then went to Florida and caused wrecks that cost people lives. And Florida, there are federal laws on state recognition of things like driver's licenses. And Florida's like, we're not going to keep living like this. And DeSantis is picking a fight on it, which he deserves to do. When you got residents of your state dying at the hands of illegal aliens who got their driver's licenses in other states, that's a real problem and a breakdown in federalism in the country. And that somebody in Ohio was attempting to do this. Glad they shut that down.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
150 Cool-Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Some better news in Kennesaw. The construction just broke down out of the right lane. Everything open 75 North Chastain Road, but still a slow ride back through Marietta. Hopefully those delays will start to improve. Also got a crash out in Lawrenceville, 316 eastbound at Highway 124. It is in the right lane, causing a little bit of a slow zone, but looks like that should be in the clearing stages. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Now at Whole Foods Market, save 20% on no antibiotics ever, beef chuck roast, and stew meat with Prime through September 30th. While supplies last, shop in store or online. Terms apply. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
WSB is your home of the dog.
Lobs it up, caught by Humphreys.
Tune in tomorrow as number 5 Georgia faces off with the 17th ranked Crimson Tide.
30, 20, far sideline, 10.
Pre-game coverage starts tomorrow afternoon at 3:30.
Sideline.
Kickoff at 7:30.
Pylon.
Only on your home of the dogs, 95.5 WSB.
Touchdown! Touchdown!
Brought to you in part by Hoffman Financial Group, official partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
The Findlay Roofing Chief Barking Officer, Rufus, has the zoomies. He's rolling over about saving you $1,000 off your roof replacement. That's a lot of bones. Hey, it's Dave Baker for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Stop repairing the leaks and dragging your feet. For a limited time, save $1,000 on your roof replacement. Hurry, this treat ends on Halloween. Schedule your free roof analysis at FindlayRoofing.com.
Starting a business takes grit and fortitude, but to keep it going requires taking care of customers like family. That's our motto, and my family's been sticking to it for decades. Hi, this is Daniel Jape, and you can count on Jape Services to provide quality care and price transparency for your home's heating, cooling, and plumbing needs. At Jape Services, we're a family-run business, and I personally guarantee to treat you like family as well. JapeServices.com.
Jape Services.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Hey, skip the hassles of traditional home sales and sell your home quickly with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Now, there's no showings, no open houses, and that means no stress for you. Hey, your friend Sean Hannity here. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can skip the stress, make the most money, and close in as little as 21 days. Now, listen to their client Jerry's experience. Quote, we needed to move quickly, and we were worried that the process would be lengthy and that we'd spend a lot of money on repairs. Mark Spain Real Estate got us an offer in just 3 days and over the asking price. It was amazing. I can't thank Mark Spain Real Estate enough. Now, Mark Spain Real Estate is the most experienced real estate team in the U.S., and you can trust them to sell your home fast and for maximum profit. Now, find out what your guaranteed cash offer would be with no obligation. Just go to markspain.com. Get your guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
He may not tell you what you want to hear, but he tells you what you need to hear. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
The busiest airport on planet Earth is Two Dead Mayors International Airport, located in Atlanta, Georgia. And it is about to lose $57 million. That's right. Hartsfield-Jackson Two Dead Mayors International Airport in Atlanta, Georgia is about to lose $57 million in federal grants. Why? Because the city of Atlanta is refusing to get rid of DEI language in its projects. WSB-TV, Channel 2 in Atlanta reports the FAA wants the city to sign new grant language disavowing diversity, equity, and inclusion programs to get the funding. The city has refused. The airport planned to use the grant money to replace existing taxiway pavement, renovate restrooms, and to lower airport emissions. More than $37 million of the $57 million will be permanently lost. The FAA says the airport could still get the remaining $19 million if it agrees to the new grant language next fiscal year. So the city of Atlanta, which runs the world's busiest airport, would rather promote diversity, equity, and inclusion than get money to upgrade its airport from the federal government. The priorities of progressives: DEI over no potholes on the runway. Just fascinating. Now, the city says, well, federal funds make up less than 10% of the total capital program. Okay, but you're still out $57 million that you are going to use to upgrade your runways and taxiways and renovate the bathrooms in the airport. So all of you going through Two Dead Mayors International Airport on your way to heaven or hell, when you stop to use the bathroom and it's a mess, I want you to think about the messy bathroom and think that the city of Atlanta decided diversity, equity, and inclusion was more important than fixing that bathroom that you're standing in. The priorities of progressives never cease to amaze. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm is a brilliant little air purifier that wipes out odors. It generates ozone. And ozone, when it touches odor particles, which are ionized particles of the air, when it touches odors, it eliminates them. Ozone eliminates odors. It's been well proven for a very long time. Ozone eliminates odors. And the Eden Pure Thunderstorm is a very small device. You can plug it into the wall or plug it in with a USB cord, and it generates ozone, and it wipes out odors, litter box odors, smoke odors, pet odors, wet dog odors, frying shrimp in the kitchen odors, musty odors. I have used it a number of times in hotel rooms with either the people next door or the prior people in the room had smoked, or in rental cars, you can plug it up with a USB cord in a rental car. I've used it in my house. Friends buy them and use them. Everybody says they just work great. I use it. I don't use it as an air purifier, and I don't keep it running all the time because of the ozone. But I use it to wipe out odors, and boy, does it work. EdenPureDeals.com is the website you go to. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3. EdenPureDeals.com. ERIC3 is the discount code. You get 3 of them, you save $200. You get 3 of them for less than $200.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
We only want to be around people who think exactly like us.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
God forbid you actually converse about the world.
Eric Von Hessler.
Smash and conquer, my friend.
Eric Von Hessler.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
You've seen them, holiday decorations already up in the stores, trees, wreaths, even the big inflatables. I'm Chris Chandler. Wise Guys Pro Wash keeps my home's exterior looking great, and now my clean home will shine when they put up my holiday lights. They make it simple. Custom design, they provide the lights, install everything, and when the season's over, they pack and store it for me. First-time customers book by October 15th. Mention my name, Chris Chandler, and you'll get $100 off installation. Let Wise Guys Lights brighten your holidays this year.
Hi, it's Mark Beckham with Atlanta Ramjack. Bigger isn't always better. Don't let the big companies fool you. Atlanta Ramjack is the leader in foundation repair. Whether it's residential or commercial, Ramjack is the most reliable, technically capable company in the business. Our staff has the most experience in solving difficult foundation problems. No one can match our expertise in foundation repair. Ramjack fixes the issues other companies can't. Go to atlantaramjack.com to set up your free estimate.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. It's a WSB Health Alert. Check your freezer for some ready-to-eat pasta sold at Walmart.
The Health Alert centers around certain heat-and-eat beef meatball pasta meals that were sold at Walmart. The reason is they may be contaminated with listeria that was previously linked to a deadly outbreak. This is the market-side linguine with beef meatballs and marinara sauce sold in refrigerated 12-ounce clear plastic trays. The products have a best-by date of September 22nd through October 1st.
WSB Health reporter Sabrina Cupid says they were sold nationwide. If you have them, toss it out or take it back for a refund. It is 82 degrees in Atlanta. Scattered rain showers around today. Just a few showers and storms around tomorrow to start the weekend. Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. 2 women are stabbed at the same Cobb County hotel where a baby was shot and killed this week. Cobb police say one of the women has died after she was stabbed multiple times at the Budgetel Inn and Suites on Circle 75 Parkway. The other victim in stable condition with a cut to the hand. Atlanta police arrest Frank Moore, who's charged with felony murder and aggravated assault. Happening now in Fulton County, the jury deliberating in the trial of a man accused of killing 8-year-old Secoria Turner during protests in Atlanta in July of 2020. Earlier, jurors in the Julian Connolly trial asked to rewatch the area security videos from all 4 angles. WSB's Veronica Waters is on verdict watch. New York's medical examiner confirms today the suspect who opened fire at the headquarters of the NFL had CTE as he claimed. Shane Tamura left a note claiming he had traumatic brain injury and blamed the NFL for concealing the dangers of players' brains to maximize profits. 4 people died in that shooting. Tamura died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. A church in Grayson suffers about $20,000 in damage thanks to a vandal. Community of Grace Lutheran Church pastor Michael Jeanette says a young person playing basketball in the church parking lot saw the suspect and called police.
Somebody had broken in several windows and doors, glass doors of our church building, basically vandalism to our building. Again, like about 4 big windows and 2 exterior doors, 2 interior glass doors.
The suspect is arrested. The church does not believe this was a targeted act, but just a troubled person. Researchers at Georgia State University are launching a new effort to see if there is life out there in the cosmos. Professor Stuart Jeffrey says they are making a new telescope called ELF.
It's going to be a telescope with one job, and its job's going to be finding life beyond Earth.
This way of looking for life is different in that it uses sight rather than sound to search for life. It is now 2:02. This news sponsored by Bread Becker's. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Omaha Steaks is the perfect place for you to go and load up on seafood on chicken, on pork, on beef, on main courses, on sides, on desserts, you name it. They got it all at Omaha Steaks, and right now it's all 50% off at omahasteaks.com. So go to omahasteaks.com today, load up your cart with deliciousness. At checkout, use promo code ERIC, E-R-I-C-K. You'll get an extra $35 off, minimum order required, and you will save big. You can use it for meal prep. You can use it for, you're not planning every day what's for dinner. You've already got it picked out from Omaha Steaks. Get your kids involved in the process. Let them look at the main courses, and you just put them in the oven, you heat them up, you're ready to go. It makes it easy, so you're having a home-cooked meal around the dinner table with no sweat on your part. omahasteaks.com. Everything is 50% off right now. At checkout, use promo code ERIC, E-R-I-C-K. You'll get an extra $35 off. Already incredible savings happening right now. It's omahasteaks.com. The promo code at checkout is ERIC, E-R-I-C-K.
Linda here with another satisfied patient with a great story to tell you about Atlanta Vision Institute. Lisa had the laser optics procedure. Why did you choose Atlanta Vision Institute?
Well, I'd been wearing contacts or glasses for the last 50 years and decided one day that I'd had enough. I have an active lifestyle and the glasses just were getting in the way.
Now, after the procedure with Dr. Ashraf at Atlanta Vision Institute, what were the results like?
It was amazing. I could see the highway signs from far away, and I was able to thread the needle on my sewing machine without any help.
Nobody can do that. That's amazing. Folks, if you feel like you're at your wit's end with your vision, why don't you go see Dr. Ashraf at Atlanta Vision Institute? Go to 2020atlanta.com and see if you're a candidate for the laser optics procedure. Go to 2020atlanta.com.
It's happening, guys. Your hair's thinning, the crown's disappearing. Hair loss might have you feeling you've lost your identity. It's Mark Aram here. Thankfully, there's Advanced Hair Simple One-Day Treatment. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I've seen Advanced Hair's incredible results with my own eyes. Get your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
It is 2:05. Time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. In the 24-hour traffic center, it's Alex Williams.
Hey, good afternoon, Bill, and got some better news for those traveling up into Kennesaw. Construction just cleared 75 northbound at Chastain Road, so hopefully that'll help out the ride that's been slow back through Marietta. Seeing the Friday afternoon volume pick up downtown, heading southbound from the 85-400 merge down toward I-20, and northbound there's been right lane construction 75-85 north at Langford Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon, high 80, lows tonight in the mid-60s. A few pop-up storms tomorrow can't be ruled out, high 81. Sunday, partly cloudy skies, high 83.
Right now it's 80 in Stockbridge, 83 in Cartersville, and 82 in Tucker. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is chill. CHILL. Go to the WSB radio app or WSBradio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is chill. Join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5 p.m.
Hello, America. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very happy to have you. I want to talk about what's happening in Mississippi. And I very, very, very much want you to pay attention here. Anywhere in the nation that you live, this is so notable and such a big deal, it genuinely should be a national headline. We now have out the standardized test scores in the nation for seniors graduating last year, and it's terrible. I mean, genuinely bad stuff. Kids in this country have gotten dumber since COVID lockdowns. They're worse in math, they're worse in reading, they're worse in reading comprehension. You know, it's one thing to be able to read words on a page. It's a completely separate thing to understand what those words mean. It is when you, one of the standardized test hallmarks, and you all remember because you've all had the standardized test, is you read a paragraph. You have to answer questions about what you read, reading comprehension. But to even begin the reading comprehension, you've got to be able to read. Reading accelerates everyone to a better life. I tell my kids all the time still, the more you read, the smarter you get. You're not just acquiring knowledge, but your brain works better and better and better. You get better and better at reading, you get better and better at math. The words on a page, being able to process them, elevates you out of poverty. And Mississippi is starting to elevate children out of poverty by making them all better readers. And it's not just Mississippi. Louisiana, Alabama, and Tennessee have embraced what Mississippi is doing. It's being referred to as the Mississippi Miracle. And Kelsey Piper is writing about this. And Kelsey Piper is not exactly a conservative. But listen to this. Consider the latest chapter of the Mississippi Miracle, which has seen the state climb from 49th in the country on fourth grade reading to 9th nationally. This rise has received coverage in publications ranging from the New York Times to the New York Post, and yet it still feels as if what's taking place in the Deep South still has been grossly undersold. First, it's not just Mississippi. Louisiana, Alabama, and Tennessee have adopted the same strategy, stemming the bleeding affecting states elsewhere and seen significant improvements. Second, many people who aren't too focused on education policy seem to think Mississippi has simply stopped underperforming, that they're now doing about as well as everyone else. That's not true at all. Mississippi has not just caught up to your state, they are now wildly outperforming your state. If you live where I do in Oakland, California, and you cannot afford private education, you should seriously consider moving to Mississippi for substantially better public schools. Black students are as likely to be basic or above average readers in Mississippi, where the median black household income was $37,900 in 2023, as in national top performer Massachusetts, where the median black household income was $67,000 in 2022. You got that? In fact, Maryland has now hired Mississippi's superintendent of education, who oversaw improvements in that state's test scores, and now implementing the same program in Maryland. Maryland is rising. Kelsey Piper again. In my home state of California, only 30% of public school fourth graders can read proficiently. Fully 41% of fourth graders cannot read at a basic level, which is to say they cannot really understand and interpret written text at all. Eighth graders look almost as bad. These numbers have been tumbling downhill in California and more widely across the U.S. for years now, and not just because of school closures during the pandemic. Nationwide, reading scores for fourth graders peaked back in 2015, and while the especially ugly 2022 outcomes were dismissed at first as COVID-19 outliers, scores have gone down since. The decline is worse for the kids who are already struggling. The test scores of the bottom 10% of students have dropped catastrophically. In Mississippi, they have been rising year over year. The state recovered from a brief decline during COVID and now surpassed its pre-COVID highs. Its fourth grade students outperform California's on average, even though our state is richer, more educated, and spends 50% more per pupil. The difference is most pronounced if you look at the most disadvantaged students. In California, only 28% of black fourth graders read at or above grade level. In Mississippi, it's 52% of black fourth graders read at or above basic level. Mississippi has not just raised the floor, it's raised the ceiling. The state is also one of the nation's best performers when you look at students who are not economically disadvantaged. There is very little more essential to a free society than universal literacy and adequate public education. It's a civil right and the foundation for absolutely everything else. Mississippi's success is exciting, but perhaps more exciting is that other states that have adopted Mississippi's playbook are getting the same results. Louisiana clawed its way from 49th to 32nd. Tennessee has made it to the top 25 for the first time. John White spent 9 years in the Louisiana Department of Education working on a suite of reforms that made Louisiana the fastest improving state in the country across reading, math, science, and high school graduation rates. The first thing he did was to caution that we don't actually know which of Louisiana's reform played a causal role. Nonetheless, there are some commonalities among what southern states are doing. John White named 3 things, the first of which sounds obvious in retrospect. The states adopted reading curricula backed by actual scientific research. This led them to adopting phonics-based early literacy programs and rejecting ones using the debunked whole language method that encouraged students to vaguely guess at words based on context instead of figuring them out sound by sound. Now, I gotta segue from this because it's really important here. When I was a child, my parents will remember that my brain moved faster than my mouth. And I stuttered terribly as a kid. And I was not a good reader. And in first grade, I would be pulled away from class to a tutor who was in 9th grade and a lady named Miss Hannah, and they would help me with reading. And in 2nd grade, I had to go into a remedial class for reading. In 3rd grade, I could finally start reading out loud without stuttering. That's right. Your radio show host who talks for 3 hours a day with no script had a speech impediment when I was growing up, and it was in large part because my brain moved faster than my mouth, and I couldn't get the words out, and I would stutter. And I had a teacher in 3rd grade who knew I liked Greek mythology, who between the tutoring program and the extra remedial program for reading and phonics, and Mrs. Bruskus, who made me write and write and write and write and write and then read out loud, always out loud to her. She would keep me during recess and read. And I remember, I can still quote for you the very first words I read out loud without stumbling over them. Single goddess, rage of Achilles, son of Theseus. Is it Theseus? Yeah, Theseus. Yep, single goddess, rage of Achilles. I will never forget that line. Terrible poetic version of the Iliad, by the way. I like the prose version better than the poetry version, but I could say that out loud without stumbling over it. That whole first paragraph of that poem of the Iliad. Because Mrs. Bruskus made me write it and 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 read it out loud and read it out loud. And what she did was phonics. The sounds and the syllables, they all taught phonics. And I was always mesmerized when I would come home. My mom's best friend called her my Aunt Shirley. She was a kindergarten teacher. And she had been my kindergarten teacher before we moved to Dubai. And at some point in elementary school curriculum, it went from phonics to whole words. And you try to read sentences and guess the words based on context. And the data has always shown that phonics was better than whole word. But it became this weird dogmatic fight within teachers groups and teachers unions. And what's so interesting is that progressive teachers unions back in the day not only embraced the whole word method, but then invested in companies that were committed to the whole word method. And progressive teachers unions in progressive states have insisted that the teachers teach the whole word approach, where in southern schools where it's employment by will, they got more wedded to the research that showed phonics is actually the best way to teach kids to read. And they started doing phonics-based teaching. And guess what? Teaching phonics has exploded. Making schools, this is back to Kelsey Perry, this piece, making schools adopt the approach took more than a mere nudge. The southern surge states had tried earmarking funding, guidance to districts, and outright mandates. Those states all made a commitment to rigorous reviews of the highest quality published materials for students and some level of incentive for districts to implement the curriculum. So identifying the curricula that worked, buying them for schools, telling teachers to use it was part of the solution. But you've also got to get teachers to teach the curriculum. The second pillar is a scaled system of training teachers on the curriculum. Most teaching you get as a teacher is not training on the curriculum. Teachers undergo a lot of training, and it's mostly a waste of their time. That's not because teacher training is unimportant, but because we're training them in the wrong things. Billions of dollars are spent and wasted every year on professional management that is curriculum agnostic. A huge industry is invested in these workshops and trainings, argued a scathing 2020 article by David Steiner at Johns Hopkins. Given on average barely more than a single day of professional support to learn about the new materials, knowing that their students will face assessments that lack any integration with the curriculum, and subject to principals evaluations that don't assess curriculum use, teachers across the country are barely using these shiny objects. Old habits went out. So Mississippi in 2013 changed how it trained teachers, mandating elementary school teachers receive instruction in the science of reading. It sent coaches to low-performing classrooms to guide the teachers on the material. The third pillar is the least favorite but critical. Number 3 is clear accountability at the district level, the school level, the educator level, and the student and parent level. Accountability means standardized tests, requirements that students master reading before they advance to the 4th grade, and ranking of schools on performance. Accountability is no fun. When there aren't active political currents pushing for it, it tends to erode, but it's needed. Schools got distracted, John White said. At the same time, many schools were loosening the incentive structure that exists to focus on reading and math, knowledge, and skills. In Mississippi, a child who isn't capable of reading at the end of the 3rd grade has to repeat the 3rd grade. Alabama and Tennessee implemented it too. Research found that 3rd grade retention doesn't harm students in non-academic ways and tends to help them academically, but it's upsetting for kids and families and educators. But it works. Y'all, Mississippi is now leading the nation in literacy for kids. Leading the nation. Louisiana, Tennessee, Alabama have adopted the Mississippi methods, and their scores have skyrocketed. Louisiana now leads the nation in kids graduating from high school mastering math and reading and science. Louisiana, my home state, when I was in high school, I sat in a class my first day of high school in 10th grade in a public school in Louisiana and heard a kid raise his hand because he had never even heard of the word liberty. Liberty. Had never heard it, didn't know what it was, didn't know how to pronounce it. And now that same state is leading the nation because they decided to get rid of the dogma and focus on what actually worked. And it turns out Hooked on Phonics does work for these states and for these kids. And training the teachers how to teach it has made all the difference in the world. The southern poor states have more black kids reading at a level they need to read to be able to be literate for life than the elite, wealthy, progressive states that spend more on education. Think about that. The poor southern states that have less money to spend on education, the disadvantaged non-white students are actually better at reading than the wealthier black kids in richer states that haven't adopted the methods of the southern states.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
222 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still got right lane construction leaving the airport downtown, 7585 northbound up around Highway 166 Langford Parkway. Southbound, it's already a Friday afternoon slow ride from the 85-400 merge, trying to make that ride down to I-20. And 85 north out of DeKalb into Gwinnett, filling in from 285 into Norcross at Jimmy Carter Boulevard. Traffic brought to you by Peach Pass. Life doesn't slow down, and neither can you. With Peach Pass, you save time, cruise by traffic, and use your Peach Pass in 20 states, including Georgia. Visit Peach beachpass.com and keep moving. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is chill. CHILL. Go to the WSB Radio app or WSBradio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is chill. Join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5 p.m.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier, the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the Portfolio X-Ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the Portfolio X-Ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. Mm-hmm. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well, and I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-Ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. I know finding a dream engagement ring can be overwhelming, but don't worry, we got you. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond at Shane Company is truly the best of the best. Our team travels the world to see diamonds up close, in person. We handpick each one for its unique fire, brilliance, and scintillation. Diamond buying is an art. Of course, we look at cut, color, clarity, and carat, known as the 4 C's. But that's not all. We also look at how each diamond looks on a hand, where it will be worn, how it makes you feel, and if it's worthy of a Shane Company customer. That type of expertise only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. We also think about your budget. We only pick the best in each grade in all shapes and sizes. Your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Text Eric to 33777 and get the 4 Things You Need to Know podcast. Eric tells you the 4 things to pay attention to after the show. Also available on YouTube and your favorite podcast app.
Yeah, I gotta just say again, please, you guys actually, if you want to really help us, growing YouTube bizarrely is one way to grow the radio show. That people want to know, stations want to know, how big is your social media following? What are you on YouTube? How many people subscribe to the podcast? So doing all that stuff really helps us, and you can if you text the word ERICK, ERICK, to 33777. You can subscribe. I'll send you back the links. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can subscribe to the podcast, the 4 Things to Know This Afternoon. All that stuff is available for you to subscribe to. Now, I got to tell you about Hillsdale College. They would love to offer you one of their classes for free. And I can't recommend enough a couple of them that I have dearly loved. One was on the Roman Republic. That one was great. The Constitutional Convention was great. The Federalist Papers great. I dearly loved the C.S. Lewis class. Now, here's what these classes are. They're 30-minute videos from Hillsdale's faculty, and depending on the class, depends on the number of those videos, how many episodes there are. So, for example, the one on capitalism has 7 30-minute videos. There's one on the Federalist Papers has 10 30-minute videos. You do them at your own pace. And it's just 30 minutes of your time with one of the great Hillsdale faculty members. They're very entertaining. They're stimulating. You actually learn useful knowledge. And it's not indoctrination. It's actually just real education, real history. You can get it on economics, chemistry, on math, on literature, on philosophy, on politics, on history, so much. All you have to do is go to ERICKforHillsdale.com, ERICK, ERICKforHillsdale.com. Sign up with Hillsdale College today. It doesn't cost you a penny to do. You take one of these classes, you get a certificate of completion when you're done. ERICKforHillsdale.com. Go sign up today.
Don't be late because you crowdsourced your commute with a navigation app.
This might become a travel advisory. Yeah, they're in 2 left lanes.
Depend on us.
Some delays if they shut that ramp down.
To make sure you get where you need to be on time.
Jam starting at Langford Parkway, getting past Spring Street.
Local and dependable traffic 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We had a lot going on this morning through Henry County.
WSB Triple Team Traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's news and talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. It's new this half hour. Georgia shatters its tourism record for a 3rd straight year. The Department of Economic Development says in 2024, more than 174 million people visited the Peach State, spending more than $45 billion at hotels and restaurants, a 4% increase from a year before. The USDA issues a public health alert today about some ready-to-eat pasta meals that may be contaminated with listeria. Packages of market-side linguine with beef meatballs and marinara sauce was shipped to Walmart locations nationwide. The pre-cooked pasta is packaged in 12-ounce clear plastic trays. The agency says you should not eat the pasta, throw it away, or return it to the store for a refund. Speaking at the UN General Assembly today, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu vows to continue the fight in Gaza.
Lay down your arms. Let my people go. Free the hostages. All of them. The whole 48. Free the hostages now.
Dozens of delegates walk out during the address. It comes as many countries start recognizing Palestine as an independent state. Federal Reserve Board Board of Governors member Lisa Cook is looking to the U.S. Supreme Court to keep her position. Cook's legal team is seeking to keep her in her post while her lawsuit over President Trump's attempt to fire her moves forward. Lower courts have kept Cook in her role, but the Justice Department has asked the High Court to put Trump's firing over mortgage and fraud allegations into effect. It is now 2:32. This news sponsored by FGA Roofing.
That nagging joint pain, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's from years of hard work. Sometimes it's an old injury that just never healed right. Either way, it's been calling the shots in your life for too long. But that stops right now. I'm Mark Airman. QC Kinetics is here to flip that script. They use regenerative medicine, advanced cellular treatments that help your body heal and restore the damage in your joints, not cover it up, not cut it out, actually helping heal and restore. And the results, long-term, lasting relief. QC Kinetics, no surgery, no drugs, no long recovery, just a smarter, natural way to get your freedom back. Bring your MRIs, your X-rays, and they'll make sure you're a good candidate. Your first consultation, it's free, friends, so there's no reason to wait. Call QC Kinetics, 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. Decatur, Lawrenceville, Sandy Springs, Marietta, Stockbridge, and Douglasville. Appointments available on Saturday. 770-285-8026.
At Jape Services, family isn't just a slogan, it's how we do business.
Our family has been helping homeowners with their heating and cooling since 1978.
And now, we're riding along just like our dad did when he was 14.
And today, we're here to help your family stay cool and comfortable. If your AC is struggling, call Jape Services for honest pricing, expert heating and cooling repair, or replacement.
Decades of experience, family-run values, service you can trust.
Let our family take care of your family.
Jape Services.
If critters are creeping in your attic, better call Breda to kick those critters out. With the Breda Wildlife Guarantee, if they return, you're covered at no additional cost.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
So your septic system needs repairs. That stinks. First, they want to charge you to pump out the tank and charge you again for the repair. That's just wrong. Hi, I'm Shannon, owner of Scorpion Septic, and we don't do that. With us, there's never a pump out charge with your repair. You'll save hundreds.
Take the sting out of septic service with Scorpion Septic, where there is never a pump out charge with your repair. Call for more information.
ScorpionSepticServices.com. Selling and buying a home doesn't have to be a juggling act. With Orchard, you get cash up front to buy your next place, then more cash when your old home sells. Start with a free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
At 2:34, Alex Williams in the traffic center.
Still got right lane construction downtown, 75-85 northbound up around Langford Parkway. And you're seeing brake lights filling in Dorville, 285 eastbound from Peachtree Boulevard, trying to get onto I-85 north. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy skies today with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms heating up to a high near 80. Lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms possible, high 81. Sunday, drying out, morning lows in the mid-60s, daytime high 83.
It's 81 in Ackworth, 81 in Conyers, 80 degrees in Decatur. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Hello there, it's Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number this Open Line Friday is 877-973-7425. Let's go to the phones to Jacksonville, Florida, listening on WOKV. Is Stephen. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Wow, this is an honor. Thank you, sir, for having me on.
Sure.
Well, I was listening to the show in transit, literally from a public elementary school where I was doing my job as a teacher educator and supervising some elementary school interns. Heard the part about the conspiracy theory framework you were using, which I thought was compelling, and then got back on into the show when you were talking about my field, which is teacher education and literacy, and thought I would maybe encourage you to connect some dots based on the things you were actually talking about when it comes to the argument about science of reading and phonics versus the old paradigm of whole word type things.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would say is that the jury is really still out if we're looking at objectively at this stuff, and I am a fan of what you're doing here, and I trace back my interest in shows like yours to Neil Bortz, for example. I was a great admirer of him, and I like what you're doing, the way you analyze things and the position and stance you take. And so I think that I would encourage the same kind of a perspective on that as well, that even with my appreciation for your perspective, your point of view, and I like to think I'm the similar kind of a thinker, there is more to the story than meets the eye, and to talk about either or, the science of reading and phonics versus what used to be called whole language is kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
How so?
Well, the brain research stuff that we use, if we're being responsible teacher educators, tells us that when we reach a certain age, usually it's around age 10 or 11, the brain has changed and developed to a point where some of the things that we're talking about in teaching phonics become less likely to have the impact that we want when it comes to actually doing things in reading that we're aiming for in education. Namely, we can read for understanding, because we convert over from up to about grade 3 learning to read, and then we convert over from grade 4 up into reading to learn. And we have a window there where some of the foundational things that are language development and the basics of using language and breaking it down into its smallest components, that window starts to change and maybe even starts to go away for many of us, and we have to not ignore it, but we have to put it in its place and get on with the business of becoming literate overall, so that we're able to understand and bring our experience and more complicated way of looking at the world into what we do when we try to read. So we have to shift, and to say either or could lead people in the wrong direction to think that that pertains even to older kids, let's say in school, that we should still hammer on the phonics, and there may not be good evidence that that works.
Well, so I see your point there in particular that, and it's interesting, the southern states that have embraced phonics, and thanks very much for the phone call there, that if you're not literate by third grade, if you're not capable of reading by the end of third grade, you've got to repeat third grade. Because you got to get it right. Because you're right, and that actually is in the approach that these states have found that, and for those of you who don't understand Stephen's point here, is that you have to learn to read words. And then when you get into about fourth grade is when your brain is developed to the point where then you take those words and you read for knowledge. You're now processing what you're reading. You're not just putting words on a page. Each word has a meaning, and that meaning triggers your brain to digest information. But to put this in the larger context for you, so everybody has the history here. And by the way, I will admit I'm very biased on phonics, because having started out the whole word method and had all sorts of problems, and then using phonics, I think the data does speak for itself, and people who want to be dismissive of the approach now, because you've got to understand the entirety of American universities teaching how to teach teachers how to read and stuff. It's all a lot of whole word stuff, and it became very controversial. Phonics, just to put this in the grand scheme of things, phonics goes back to the 16th century. That's right. Phonics, the history of reading in the English language, goes back to 1690 and the New England Primer, how to teach people in this country how to read from the 1690s until the 1800s. And in the 1800s, Horace Mann, who was a politician, by the way, and an advocate for literacy, embraced the idea of sounding out word letters by letters, because he was worried that if you do this, doing phonics, sounding out letter by letter, that you could detach from the word's meaning. So Horace Mann embraced what became the whole language approach in the 1800s. He was very, very prominent. Now, interestingly enough, literacy rates began to decline in every single school that embraced Horace Mann's approach. Literacy went down. In the 1950s, a very famous book came out, Why Johnny Can't Read. I remember having to read this book for a time. I thought about being an educator and had to read this book, Why Johnny Can't Read. It was a 1955 book, and it became this explosive debate in the reading wars. And literally, you do have to understand this, that there was an entire educator economics involved with teachers' unions that were advancing the idea of the whole word approach. I mean, all the major English language materials, all the teachers were being taught, and the teachers' unions didn't want to change. And in every single school, and this is where I think the debate ends for me on this. In every single school system in the United States that dropped whole word reading for phonics in K through 3, every single school system in the country that has embraced phonics based on the same standardized tests everybody uses, the kids who learn phonics outperform the kids who learn whole word. The poor black kids do better. The rich white kids do better. Every demographic does better. Mississippi started abandoning not just the whole word approach, but reteaching teachers to train their students on phonics. And when Mississippi did this, the results speak for themselves. Mississippi went from second to last place to 5th place in the nation. Louisiana, that embraced Mississippi's model, and now leads the nation. Tennessee and Alabama are skyrocketing in literacy, and every single one of them, the thing they have in common is they abandoned the Horace Mann whole word approach, and they went back to the 16th century or the 17th century phonics approach. And I think the results there speak for themselves. Yeah, Stephen's absolutely right. When you get past 3rd grade, the approach to reading has to change, because you're not reading to learn to read, you're reading to learn comprehension, and you're reading to learn knowledge. But in K through 3, phonics has a greater, the data shows phonics gets more kids reading by 3rd grade than the whole word approach. So then when they get into 4th grade, they train their skills from sounding out the words to understanding what the words mean and acquiring the knowledge that the words give. The data at this point, I don't think it's political. I think the data is very straightforward. It's very straightforward. Let me go back to the phones here. Steve, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, Eric. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Really enjoy your show. I just wanted to say I've got 4 children. I'm 67 years old. 2 of the children were raised under phonics. 2 of the children were raised under word recognition. The 2 that are raised under phonics read all the time and are excellent readers.
Oh, wait. Yeah, Steve, you broke up on me there right as you were saying what the results were with phonics.
Okay, the 2 that raised under phonics, they read all the time and understand what they're reading and excellent readers. The other 2, even now, struggle with reading comprehension. They're anywhere from age 30 to 45.
Now, Steve,
so
we have to weed
made a
out.
big difference.
Well, hang on now. We got to weed out the key variable here. Did your children have Tylenol? I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. I mean, just making sure that the whole word readers aren't Tylenol Americans. We got to make sure here. Yeah. Okay. So now yes. I just no, seriously though. But to your point, yeah. I mean, my kids are to some degree in the same situation. We moved them from a school that was doing whole word and moved them to a school that was doing phonics, and the transition to being prolific readers who actually can read and enjoy reading and you know, the other thing too, Steve, is that when my kids learned complicated words, having learned phonics, they could sound out the word and it's that word. As opposed to the whole word approach. Yeah, which was always kind of weird.
Yes. And when they, even now, when they come across a word they don't know, they can sound it out, and their spelling is much, much better than the other 2.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I hope they're not listening, Steve.
I believe in phonics. I think it's the right way to go.
Amen. Thank you very much for calling. Joe in Germantown, Ohio, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just wanted to give you a little background. In 3rd grade, I was failing reading. I was in a Catholic school. They were teaching whole word. I had to spend summer school learning phonics. After that summer school, I could read.
Wow.
Yeah, I read everything about everything anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are things I read that I don't understand. I've got to look up words and say exactly what does that mean, but I can sound it out. I know what the word is. It was night and day.
Right.
And this is what we need to teach our kids. How to make the letters make sounds.
Right.
Once they know that, they can figure it out. They can go to a dictionary if they don't understand a word, and they can say, okay, this is what this word means. You know, like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's sounding those out there. Or, take one of my favorite words of all time, automatopoeia. Do you know what an automatopoeia is? If you encounter that word and you are into whole words, you are never going to figure out what automatopoeia is. If you learn phonics, you can pronounce onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is a word written to sound like the sound it makes. Chirp, roar, meow, oink, sizzle, bam, crash, pow. Those are all onomatopoeias. I love that word because I love to say the word automatopoeia. And it's also a word that if you stumble across it, you're like, what is that word? Claude, you're going to be the last caller today, this Friday. How are you?
Oh, that's great. What I wanted to part, my mother was raised, born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We moved to Chicago. Then we moved to this integrated town called Robbins, Illinois. My mother taught my sister how to read at 4 years old. The neighbor would read, friend was reading at 4 years old. Most of the people were teaching their kids to read. I was writing cursive when I was 2 or 3, not knowing what I was writing. And my mother dropped out of high school. Education was very important to her. My father could do the Rubik's Cube. He didn't finish high school. But anyway, the point was we listened to the radio, and we had books all over the place, and we listened to the radio, but reading was an extension of the theater of the mind. And when she got to school, the teacher jumped all over her for teaching my sister to read because they were writing, this is boring. When they were reading Dick and Jane, they could write and make sentences. And as my mother could do without even finishing high school, out this, the question is, and they were using phonics, but they told, no, because they said, don't do that because they would get bored and they might act out. And so, we would too, and it was a wonderful town, was integrated, and everything like that. But we didn't know that we couldn't do it being parents, and it was in 1951 and 1952.
Huh. Yeah, look, I got to tell you, Claude, the data is there. In the southern states, in the black community, thanks very much for the phone call, the black students who learn phonics outperform black students who learn whole word. And it goes beyond socioeconomic background. And it literacy elevates kids to a higher level of existence. A child who graduates from high school who is a proficient reader from a poor family is far more likely to get a job than go to jail. A child who graduates from high school being unable to read is far more likely to go to jail than go to college or get a job. You want to keep kids out of jail when they get old, you teach them to read at an early age, and they become productive members of society. This is not rocket science, but the data is overwhelmingly that you teach kids in K through third grade phonics, teach the teachers how to teach the phonics. You're going to have a whole lot more productive citizens later and a whole lot fewer kids going to jail when they get out of high school. It's a no-brainer. Everybody should be doing it, and it's the teachers' unions in progressive states that are blocking the effort to transition because they've invested too much in too many financially lucrative businesses that produce and sell whole word materials.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
252 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Crash on the south side perimeter. Traffic trooper spotted it. I see it on the jam cam. Left lane, 285 eastbound. The outer loop at Flat Shoals, exit 46 into Cab County. Seeing a little bit of rain causing some wet pavement delays on 575, both north and southbound between Holly Springs and Woodstock. Traffic brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Learn more about their support of Common Threads in nutrition education at anthem.com/dream. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthcare Plan of Georgia, Inc. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
Online,
on the app,
where you get your news.
is where you'll live.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
Oh my God!
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
I just won $1,000.
Just enter the word at WSBradio.com or on the WSB radio app. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 5 p.m.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Hey everyone, it's your buddy Shelly Winter here. Join me this Saturday at noon for the Car Guys with Kevin Deutsch from Butler Lexus of South Atlanta. Buy or lease, fix or sell, everything you want to know about cars, we will cover Saturday noon to 1 right here on 95.5 WSB.
It's happening, guys. Your hair's thinning, the crown's disappearing. Hair loss might have you feeling you've lost your identity. It's Mark Aram here. Thankfully, there's Advanced Hair Simple One-Day Treatment. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I've seen Advanced Hair's incredible results with my own eyes. Get your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Football season is back on Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. So don't miss any of the action this season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use my code ROAM and get $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code ROAM on Prize Picks to get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. You do have to be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
On the go, take Eric's podcasts with you. Available wherever you stream your favorite podcast. Search Eric Erickson.
Well, we have here at the end of the day some good news. Core inflation was a little changed in August, according to the Federal Reserve's primary forecasting tool. The Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index posted a 0.3% gain for the month, putting the annual inflation rate at 2.7%. Excluding food and energy, it was 2.9%, which is on the nose, what was predicted. So the markets are happy. You should be happy. It's still higher than the Fed wants, but slowing, and there are some economic worries on the horizon. Well, I need to tell you about the secret war on cash. Swiss America has been sounding the alarm on this. It's an assault on your freedom to use your cash as the government tries to steer you towards plastic because they can better monitor it and control it. This goes for crypto as well. You got to be careful. Let Swiss America educate you about the secret war on cash. So I get the hiccups here at the end. 8779. No, that's my phone number, 800-289-2646. If you want to get the all-out war on cash report, 800-289-2646. Call them and tell them Eric sent you. They'll send you the report. You can get it completely for free. You can text my name, Eric, to 800-289-2646. You can also go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric, SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. Trying to pause. Got the hiccups at the end of the show. SwissAmerica.com/Eric, 800-289-2646. Just text Eric. Message and data rates may apply. I got to go drink some water upside down.